using our secondary tax as a fee add-on.
Yeah, I was talking to someone, and they were saying it'd be nice if I didn't have to pay those fees. I go, well, how do you do that? They go, well, you just absorb it. I go, well, I think there is a way through RainMaker where you can charge a percentage. So if your discount fee on your credit card is like 3%, I think you could pass it on to the client, just saying that this is a credit card fee or this is administration fee. And so I asked the girls yesterday how to do it, and I said, I got to get William to talk about this because I know a lot of people, especially guys that have big schools and spending a few $1,000s a month on their, the discounts.
Yeah, and I think that there's a couple of caveats here. The first is having some financial discipline, because just because you charge the extra fee doesn't mean it goes away, right? Like, you have to make sure that 3%, maybe you're sweeping that into a different account. Whatever your credit card processor is, you have the choice of being charged the fees or of being or of having those fees taken out of the deposit that you regularly get. So, regardless. Now, RainMaker, doing this specific little hack, which is super cool, is not going to pay those fees automatically for you. The best way that I could think that you could do this is to create a separate bank account, a free checking account, and then sweep, say 4% instead of 3%, just to make sure that there's enough money in there. 4% of December's tuition billing into that account for January, and then have the credit card company pull from a different account their fees than from your deposit account. Because you can have, hopefully you guys have a deposit account versus an operations account. If you don't have that, that's so helpful. If there's a chargeback or something like that, it's it's not coming out of your operations account. But that's the first thing. And then the second thing is to make sure that you actually want to do that. That you have the correct language to convey. I've seen a lot of people with passing fees on say, oh yeah, nobody minded. Are you sure nobody minded? Or did they just not say anything that you were, do you have the attitude that you're not nickel and diming them? So I view it as a cost of doing business, but I do understand that it could definitely be, advantageous. So then the other thing is, another way that it could be used is not just the credit card fees, but you guys that are doing pretty strict programs in terms of you're buying a 1-year program and now you're paying it out. If it's $100 a month, you can pay $1,200 for the program, or, oh, Mr. Johnson, you wanted to pay it out. No problem. You do add a 4% administrative fee on that. Not a big deal, but just want to let you know. That's an easy way or that's another method for this little trick.
If someone, you could also tell them that there's a 3% administration fee by using credit card. If you want to have it come straight out of your checking account instead, we can waive that fee.
Yep.
Because you're only paying 25% or 25 cents for that transaction.
Right. Yeah, and that is another way, especially if you're not doing anything like, we actually moved to 100% credit cards because we do so much after school that if someone's EFT bounces, we don't find out for 7 more days. You know what I mean? It's just too much. We have too many people take advantage of that in the culture of after school. And people who are ready to take advantage of that don't sign up when it's credit card, debit card. They go, never mind. You know what I mean? So, but if you're just doing regular martial arts tuition, especially if you're doing a lot of EFTs, that's a good way to pass off the credit card fees.
I think when people charge you an extra $2 or an extra 2% extra on top of that, they feel like, something in their head's like, oh my God, why don't you just include it in the price? So I know when I go do a little massage thing, to get my 50-minute foot massage, and they charge you an extra $2, it's like, dude, why don't you just charge me 27 instead of 25 bucks?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's
I just included it in the price.
I think there's a lot of things to consider. Cost of doing business. Some people who are at a certain price don't want to raise the price, so they're more comfortable. I think with a smaller school owner, that's, every bit of money is important. Maybe a good idea when you first start off, and just pass that on. So this way you're not looking at your county at the end of the year and your count goes, what's this $24,000 you spent? Well, that was a discount fee for credit cards. It goes, well, is there a way you can save on that? So now you're saying, okay, how am I going to make that money back? So this is just one way of overcoming that. So I don't want people to just stop using like RainMaker because they think, oh, this is too much money, get all this money. Well, so you're not paying RainMaker, you're paying the discount fee. At the same time, if that really bothers you, there's a way that you can pass it on to your students. And
yeah, I think so. Let's say that I were going to do this starting tomorrow for the next appointment that I signed up today. Here's how I would say it, because it's going to show up on there if you send them an invoice, right? Is I would say it's $129 a month. It's month to month. Now the system, and I would say the system doesn't charge tax, but it does charge a 3% fee. I think it's the credit card fee. So just to let you know that's now you can pay EFT if you'd like, but credit card, debit card can be easier for some people. Like start with it doesn't charge tax. Of course it doesn't charge tax because our state doesn't charge tax, right? That it doesn't charge tax, but it will charge this fee. Like it doesn't charge this, it does charge this. I think that's how I would explain it if I were going to do it. But let me show you guys how to do it. You want me to share my screen?
Please.
All right. Oh, there we go. All right. So we can see my RainMaker here.
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So in your settings, if you go to RainMaker settings, there are financial and point of sale settings. Now, if you've never gone into these settings, it can be really helpful. There's a lot of customization that can be done just from this one screen. For example, like your credit card expires email. If you didn't know that you can automatically have this credit card expire email be sent out in the way that you want it to be sent out. I don't like the phrase sincerely. I like the phrase thank you. So I changed that a while back. So there is a sales tax area right here that hopefully you already have set up for your point of sale. And then there's the secondary tax. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark this secondary tax. I'm going to rename it to credit card processing fee. I'm going to change it to credit card company processing fee. We'll make it their fault. And then what did you say? 3%, right? That'll cover it, I think. And then hit this charge tax on tuition button. Okay. Save. There we go. And then the next time that I'm creating a, let's say that Ariana, I got to get y'all out of the way here. There we go. There you are. Let's say I'm converting this new client to, or this appointment to a new program. See this tax, sales tax, credit card company processing fee. Okay, so let me show you. Let me actually do this. Gonna be a monthly membership. She is a kickboxing. Let's say she's doing the kickboxing 1 year. Program starts whatever. First installment due whatever. That's fine. And then credit card company processing fee. Right. Let me see if I can go in no tax. There we go. I think it might not have done it because I didn't do it first. Already got her information there. Oh, there it is. Yep, $297. So maybe they care, maybe they don't care. Like I think like what Sal was saying, one-on-one. I see it with a lot of small businesses. Like, yeah, that's annoying on a one-on-one. But if I have a relationship with them, I don't know. I don't see this as being that much of a problem. To who is this, Ariana? I don't see this being that much of a problem to Ariana, especially if I show it to her. She sees it's going to come through as 101.97. That's fine. And then I sweep that amount at the end of the month, and I'm not paying that. Or I just consider it as you know, I did a whatever $100,000 in tuition, and now I did $103,000 in tuition. Maybe that's an easier way to get it done. So, it's pretty simple though, right? It's not challenging at all. Of course, you guys that are charging sales tax, I think Washington beat that. There's no other states that are charging sales tax on services like this, are they? Are there?
I have no idea.
I don't think so, because Washington had that issue there for a while where they were gonna do that, and they got it.
They did it for a while too.
Yeah. Frustrating, right? But yeah, that's easy, right? Super simple. I think the hardest part is communicating it to your and then making sure that you deal with it properly, or just that's how you do it. One of the things I said, I wouldn't do this because I don't want my billing to be like that. But I saw somebody the other day saying charging every 2 weeks instead of, and I've heard this before, especially in Australia where they deal with a lot of fortnights and stuff, right? Charge every 2 weeks, and then you get 52 billing periods instead of 50. I don't think we should rely on hacks like that, but things like that can make a little difference. Is there anybody that is intending to pass on fees like that?
I'm thinking about it because it's a lot. It's quite a bit of my billing goes out in fees, and if you pay the processing fee, and then on top of that, you pay the other 2.5% for their points. And so, it's adding up to be almost 6% between the two of my billing every month on the credit cards.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, so if you're confident in your ability to communicate that to your clientele, and because it's not like you have to say, just pick your random, it's $149 a month. It's not like you have to say it's $156.50 a month. It's $149 a month. And then here's this processing fee. Like, nobody's going to feel like you're pulling the wool over their eyes, especially when you're like, hey, this is the credit card company that's charging this, because it is.
There's a school down here in my town. He's got like 400 students. He calls it a convenience fee. It just makes it more convenient doing monthly payments than paying it all in full.
Mm-hmm.
So he calls it a convenience fee. And he probably collects like $20-something thousand a year just on that. Because it's like 400 students all doing billing. He doesn't do any paid in fulls. And so it ends up a lot of money that he is saving by doing that.
Yeah, and that makes it easy to call it a processing fee as well. Hey, we have to pay this service that bills you monthly. We have to pay them. We got to pay the credit card company. We got to whatever. If you want to pay in full, even with a credit card, we'll waive the credit card fee for you. So, or still charging 3% instead of 7%. So. I like the idea. I think that it takes some focus to deploy.
Well, before we used to sell an agreement would be it's $199 for your course, and then we charge a small service fee if you budget it, and it'll be 3%. So you can pay it in full, or you can do the budgeting plan. Which would you prefer? And most people would say okay, and they know up front that there's a little processing fee involved in it.
Yep.
It's no different than in the old days when I was with EFC back in the 90s. They were charging 10%, and so it was really common just to pass that on to the students. You're passing on the 10%.
Yep. I saw a training video long time ago that was of that at the time that I saw it, it was 15 years old. And that was, so this is not a new concept. It was, Miss Johnson, I'm happy to have you pay it out monthly, but we have to pay this company that does this, So rather than give them the money, we'd rather save you that money. And then if you put it on your credit card, if your credit card processing is less than X amount, or if your credit card bill is less than X amount, then you just pay it out monthly, So It's not a new concept. I think we just we get new school owners each every year that we're trying to reinvent the wheel. You know.
And just as one, I talked to some people who are on RainMaker clients. I just want to introduce them to RainMaker, and they go, "Well, I can't afford that." I go, "Well, there's one way you can do it where you can afford it." So I just like to show them that option.
Yeah, I really am. I'm disappointed with our industry at the moment. We're all talking about how valuable our services are. We're all talking about how life-changing our martial arts is, and we're all talking about how we deserve to get paid like doctors, lawyers, and politicians. But then we're not going to pay really very affordable monthly price for a CRM that sends emails, sends texts, schedules flows, does online like if you aren't using RainMaker, what are you doing to get online paid trials? You're not, because that whole process is so hard. It's so complicated. And RainMaker you just deploy it. You just make it easy. So I'm a little irritated with everybody stinking thinking that whatever they're paying for RainMaker is too much a month. Okay, so hire, train, and pay a front desk person who's full-time, who's going to do all that for you. They're going to mess it up. They're going to, what's way better is to have that front desk person that oversees all of the operations that RainMaker is doing on a daily basis, and then does the extra, goes above and beyond. I'm just blown away why people are like, well, I only want to have to pay $20 a month, but then I'm or whatever, something else that's not even meant for really martial arts. And then I'm going to have to add an email service and a texting service and a CRM. And, it's, why would you go through all that? Don't you have class plans to work on? Like, why would you go through all of that rigmarole?
Right.
Maybe we're just gluttons for abuse. Maybe we all had our instructors beating the crap out of us all day, and so we think that's how life is supposed to be, right?
Yeah.
I was talking to Scott the other day, and he was like, normal people have hobbies. They don't abuse themselves from 8 a.m. to 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day, and then go home and not talk to their family, and then wake up and do it again. They have hobbies and a life, and I'm like, oh yeah, I don't know much about that. So,
well, there's no users groups where we can't talk to each other and interact and get our little ideas going. So we got to go directly to your screen to get anything that we can use. So if we could interact with each other somewhere, have meetings somewhere where we could trade our ideas and have little meetings, we could stop being so damn cheap.
Well, that used to be nice back in the day when we had more conventions, but it was kind of geared towards like thinking. Now where you have a convention, everyone's trying to share different ideas that kind of don't fit in. So it was more of a closed system.
Right.
Yeah, you can go to the big one. You can go to the big one and not learn anything, because you can find things that are catered to your way of thinking and only participate in that and not have to open your mind at all. If you sat down at an old EFC convention, you were going to have to look at the guy that was making $1 million a year, and you were going to have to create a brand new excuse for why, you know what I mean? Like, well, I'm a Taekwondo guy. Well, that guy's doing it. Well, I don't want to wear black uniforms. Well, that guy's wearing white uniforms. God, but nowadays you can just find whatever you want to find. So the internet can be great and the internet can be terrible.
I think that's huge, because I talk to a lot of people and I give them so many ideas, and then the one that kind of fits what they've already thought about before, that's the one they choose. I go,
right.
You didn't learn anything here.
Exactly. Yeah. You can't say my way or the highway if your way is not very much of a highway. You can't say that if you got potholes and cracks and crumbling bridges. It doesn't really work. So I always try to keep an open mind and learn from people too. But my mind was definitely closed off to the idea of administrative fees. But I think I might find a way to work it in and see how it goes. We can try something and then we can bring it back out. you know, and the 5 people that I signed up with administrative fees can pay that until they quit, and they won't know any different. That's how it goes, you know. I got in trouble with that one time. I got a quick story time. I got in a lot of trouble with that. I was trying to split test enrollment fees long time ago, and like pre-Facebook, and so I signed somebody up at like $3.99 to start and $179 a month, and they did it. And then I signed but the first person I signed up at like $199 and $149, and the second person I signed up like big, like a high price. I didn't know they were freaking friends. No idea. They were they knew it. The dude came in, the dad came in. He was country bumpkin. He was livid. You son of a, you know, he was cussing at me. I was like, I didn't have a good answer for it. I had nothing to say. But he was so livid that I made him leave and we canceled, you know. So, oh boy, so be careful on your split testing and your things like that, you know. Yeah. Make sure that you're doing it in an ethical manner.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Cool.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Hey, no problem, guys. Tell me let me know if you do those administrative fees and you have problems. Let me know. But also, if you do it and it's successful, I'm interested to hear how you kind of implemented that.
Sounds great.
Bye, guys.
Thank you.